So
God bless
Kennedy
him.
had just won the California primary. Johnson had announced a few months before that he's not running. Bobby Kennedy clearly is going to be the Democratic nominee. He's murdered that night after his victory speech, walking through the kitchen of this now demolished hotel in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Sirhan Sirhan, a Christian Palestinian from a very poor family, was arrested for it. His apartment is searched, and there are all kinds of papers where he writes, RFK must die, over and over again. He has said he's still alive, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And still in prison.
Yes, he is. And I mean, that was before I was born, and I'm 56, so it was quite some time ago. What was that?
Well, that's the $64,000 question.
Yes.
Because now there are rumors that when he was at whatever it's called, Los Angeles Community College or whatever the community college there was, that he may have participated in experiments that fell under a CIA operation then known as MK Ultra.
Yes.
So what's the truth? Now, Director Helms during the Nixon administration, or during, I guess it was the Ford administration, ordered that the MK Ultra documents be destroyed.
Which they were. After being specifically told it's a crime to destroy federal documents. Yeah, they don't belong to you.
Right. Exactly.
Do you think it's, and this is a debate about, a lot of different people in Louis Sterling West and the CIA-affiliated psychiatrist.
Right.
Do you think it is possible to get people to commit acts that they wouldn't otherwise commit?
I do.
You do?
I do.
You said there are a lot of shrinks at CIA.
Oh my God. There are offices where everybody is either a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and they're operational psychiatrists and psychologists. So you take them with you on an operation to consult with them on how do you get this guy to crack. You want him to just lose his mind. What do I need to do to push this guy over the edge? Right? Or what do I need to do to convince this guy to do something that he definitely doesn't want to do? I used those shrinks on operations. We even hypnotized one guy. He was hypnotized with his arm in the air for 2 hours. I never saw anything like it in my life. And then when he took him out of the hypnosis, his arm fell down. He looked around. He said, "What happened?" And then he vomited. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So people...
Did it work?
It did work.
Yeah.
We asked him, I'm getting a little off the subject, but we asked him
this is definitely
about
the subject.
A political assassination that had taken place that he had claimed to see. So the guy didn't speak any English. So the shrink is asking questions, and I'm translating the questions as softly and as gently as I can.
Into
right?
Arabic.
Yes. And I'm asking him, what did you see? Well, the guy had stopped at a mosque, at this little small roadside mosque, to relieve himself. So he's behind a tree, and a car pulls up, and it's these people who had been identified as the shooters in an assassination that had just taken place. And I said, so describe the guys. And he's describing what they're wearing. And I said, what kind of car are they driving? They're driving a van. I said, does the van have a license plate? He said, yes. I said, can you see the license plate? And his eyes are closed, and he goes like this. And then he reads off the numbers and letters to me. So I hand it to another officer that was in the room, runs into the next room, does a cable to the country intelligence service. It comes back, stolen plates. I said, my God, he actually did see the plates. The plates were stolen specifically for use in that assassination.
Amazing.
So you can convince people to do things that they otherwise would never dream of. So
mind control is not a sci-fi fantasy.
No. MK Ultra did far, far more damage, caused just grief and misery to hundreds of people, maybe more. And there are subsets like MK Chickwit, and there are like 5 or 6 other sub operations that were part of MK Ultra that just, caused people to jump out of windows and commit suicide, and jump off bridges.
Well, the defense secretary did.
Yeah, he did.
James Forrestal.
Yep, committed suicide. Yes, he did.
Sure he did. Yeah, that's quite an amazing story. I don't think that's on Wikipedia.
No.
So, but I would encourage people to look into that because that is definitely worth knowing about. Is it possible to infect people with cancer?
Not while I was there. People talked about it a lot, but
They talked about it a lot.
Yeah, like, do you think it's possible? Can we do it? I mean, if we could do it, what would we do with it? And this is something that the Venezuelan government and the Cuban government have both accused us of doing.
Oh, yes.
When I was there.
And many governments around the world believe that is real.
Yeah. Now, remember, I left 20 years ago. So who knows? I don't know.
So no matter how you feel about Donald Trump, it's hard to deny that his second term has been a whirlwind. It's amazing how fast this administration is advancing its agenda, deporting illegal aliens, slashing government waste, an entirely new trade strategy. No one has ever seen anything like it. They are not messing around. Now, many people are thrilled by this fast start, but it's going to take a lot more than this to achieve the ultimate goal. And that's why our friends at the Heritage Foundation are mobilizing supporters, patriots across the country to support this administration and the broader conservative movement, and they need your help to do that. You can go to heritage.org/survey to complete their national survey on Donald Trump's second term agenda. What you tell them will help their team work with the White House to make the president's campaign promises a reality. I used to work at Heritage 35 years ago. Gave me my first job. I've always been grateful for that. Heritage is not like every other think tank in D.C., almost all of which are part of the problem. Heritage is fighting the problem. I can say that. Go to heritage.org/survey to help them fill out the survey. Heritage.org/survey.
Why haven't all the files been released?
I genuinely don't know. For JFK, I think they have been.
No, they have not.
They have not.
No.
That frightens me. There were a couple of explosive revelations in the last tranche. The fact that James Angleton, the deputy director for counterintelligence, wanted to formally recruit Lee Harvey Oswald is exactly the opposite of what the CIA has been telling us for so many years.
Yes.
For 60 years. Why? If the Russians came to the conclusion that he was just a nut when he was living in Minsk and didn't want him to come back, why was the CIA involved or interested rather in recruiting him? What was he doing in Mexico City in October of 1963? He said, or not he said, but the CIA has said over the years that he was there to go to the Cuban and Soviet embassies to try to get visas. Why was he meeting with Americans? And were those American CIA officers? Of course they were. Why else would he have gone to Mexico City?
Yes.
I'm actually more interested in the RFK and the MLK documents. There is so much that we don't know about those two, especially RFK. They recovered one more bullet than Sirhan's gun held. And Thomas Noguchi.
And this is confirmed.
Yes. And Thomas Noguchi.
Well, then that's kind of case closed. Then
there it is.
Right. I mean, we don't know what happened. We know the official explanation is untrue.
It's untrue. So
because it was a revolver, it was a .22 caliber revolver.
Correct.
It's like a 9-shot.
That's right.
22s fit a lot in the cylinder. Is that I did not know that.
Yeah. And Thomas Noguchi, the coroner, said that the death shot came from behind.
Yep.
At an angle from down on the ground. But Sirhan was in front of him.
Yes.
There was a security guard there who was not associated with the Kennedy campaign or with the
Ambassador Hotel.
Yeah, the Ambassador Hotel, named Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
He was a well-known racist and white supremacist. On video, you see him lifting a gun out of his belt, and then you hear bang, 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 and he puts it back in the belt. He never got it fully out. In the 90s, the National Geographic Channel tracked him down to Mississippi or Alabama or something, and they interviewed him. And they said, "Did you shoot Robert Kennedy?" And he said, "No, I was going to, but that Arab fella got him first. Well, we know that there had to be somebody else in the kitchen at the ambassador. And we know that the shot came from behind. We know that there was a second gun because there were too many bullets. So why hasn't this been released?
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.